What are the benefits of being an extroverted introvert? More importantly, what is an extroverted introvert? Let's find out. You may well have heard of the term extroverted introvert, or you may not. It's quite, I suppose it's a relatively newish term, because I think traditionally there was always people were either an extrovert or an introvert. And if you don't know what they are, an introvert is somebody who's quite quiet, doesn't really sort of speak up very loudly, you know, sort of quiet, shy sort of person. And an extrovert is not literally a loudmouth, but basically a kind of a loudmouth, basically, and just kind of quite flamboyant and likes to be the centre of attention, where an introvert doesn't like to be the centre of attention, in simple terms. So what the hell is an extroverted introvert and an introverted extrovert? So I guess recently, in last few years, these terms have become kind of more, not popular, these terms have become apparent. And so an introverted extrovert is someone who is ultimately quite outgoing and maybe flamboyant, if that's the right word, and quite sort of confident themselves, but can be generally quiet. So I suppose you could say that a lot of people who are perhaps have a lot of self-confidence and a lot of confidence in their abilities and things like that, but don't sort of shout about it, and generally quite sort of fairly sort of quiet people on the surface, but then when you get to know them, they're actually quite loud and flamboyant and sort of stuff like that. Whereas the other way around, the extroverted introvert is someone who's basically quite quiet, possibly shy, likes to keep themselves to themselves, likes their own company, works well on their own, but sort of publicly, as it were, kind of quite gregarious, quite open, loud, and doesn't have a problem being the centre of attention at all. But their preference is being on their own and being sort of, you know, quiet and no noise and that kind of thing. Now, I've identified myself as being an extroverted introvert because whilst I like being gregarious, loud, bouncy, shouty, as all of you who know me, I tend to be, but there's nothing I like more than just being nice and quiet on my own and peaceful and just doing my own thing. And you know, that's a kind of I suppose my happy place is sort of receding back into that nice quiet place. And so yeah, I like to be loud, I like to be sort of shouty and bouncy and all those annoying things, but I do like my own quietness. And so yeah, extroverted introvert is me. So what are the benefits of being an extroverted introvert? Well, as I see it, because I can only speak from personal experience, but if you kind of identify with this kind of personality type, maybe this and you're sort of weren't really sure, but you know, if you kind of see if what I'm saying makes sense, maybe it can help you. But the way I see it is, particularly in this kind of YouTube world or the world of an entrepreneur, where there's a certain amount of requirement, if you like, to be quite outgoing, quite out there, I guess, promoting your business or promoting yourself, and particularly something like on YouTube, where you know you are literally putting yourself out there like this. And so whilst it's not, I suppose, publicly as being on a stage and that kind of thing, because really it's just me on my own at the moment in the car, there is a sort of an outgoingness about that. And I think if you get over the sort of, oh my god, you know, people are going to watch this type feeling, then it's quite easy to still be comfortable with your own company, and yet you're projecting information, your personality out literally to the world, in the case of YouTube or Facebook Lives and that kind of thing. So I think in this sort of entrepreneurial world, there's certainly a requirement for that kind of, or at least a degree of requirement, a certain degree of requirement for that amount of sort of outgoing personality. And so yeah, I'm fine with that. That's totally fine. But it's nice to kind of come back home and just be nice and quiet. That's why I live in but I don't live in I used to live in a small village in Kent. I now live in a fairly big town, Tunbridge Wells. But it's just nice because it's not central London. It's relatively peaceful, and yeah, it's just nice and quiet. And I like that. I like nice and quiet times as opposed to just noise. And you know, you could also say that might be an age thing. Maybe I'm just getting old. But it's also personal. You know, I don't like kind of music festivals. I don't like big crowds. But I'm more than happy to be on stage, giving a presentation or a talk, and that kind of thing. That's totally fine. Because I suppose maybe it's a control thing. Because I'm happy with being the centre of attention in front of a lot of people when it's my choice. Whereas a sort of a festival or big crowd, I don't like it because yeah, it's just sort of lots of people and you kind of pushing. No, I don't like it. So what are the benefits of this? Well, it's fairly simple, really. It allows me to sort of live that public life, but then also be happy with the kind of quiet life as well in the background, which to me, I see that as the sort of the perfect combination, because you get to be both. Whereas if I was around the other way, I don't think it would suit me. If I was a natural sort of extrovert and very kind of loud and gregarious, but then in public I sort of like to be quiet, that wouldn't suit what I'd like to do. But then probably the reason it wouldn't suit me is because I'm not that personality. So in my mind that doesn't really make sense. Back to my conversation the other day about logic. It doesn't sit right being like that, but that's because I'm not that personality. Whereas just being nice and quiet and liking my own company and being quiet and working on my own, that suits me to the ground. And I'm sure a lot of you who are entrepreneurs or YouTubers and generally kind of work on your own in this kind of environment can probably relate to that. Whether or not you like the kind of the loud, extroverted, exaggerated lifestyle or persona as well, that may not be the case. You may just be a straight introvert. But I like it, and so that's why I could never really understand how I was liking the kind of loud, outgoing side, but also I also like the quiet on my own side, and to me that didn't really make sense. And that's when sort of a bit of research, I realised that it's the term for that is extraverted introvert. So yeah, I'm totally comfortable and cool with that label, and it makes sense. So hopefully, if you sort of relate to some of that personality type, that might help explain things if you haven't kind of identified it, and that you're not kind of odd, kind of weird. Well, I mean, we're all probably odd and weirdos. I'm certainly weirdo, but it might have explained things to you. So yeah, that's it for today. I'm on the way now to pick up the kids off to my mum's for dinner, back for the kids for the weekend. So yeah, if you have got some value from this, don't forget, as always, hit that like button so it's nice and blue, and yeah, subscribe if you haven't. I really do appreciate it, and hit the bell notification. But for now, I wish you a very good day, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye bye.